Wednesday, April 22nd, 2026. The time is now 7:07 p.m. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required by law. Specifically, notice of this meeting was emailed to the Daily Record and the Morris Newsbee on January 8th, 2026, and posted on the Township of Morris website. The agenda and resolutions for this meeting are available under morristwp.com under the Agenda Center. Certain portions of this meeting may be closed to the public for the purpose of personnel and/or other matters as outlined in the Sunshine Law. Notice to members of the governing body and township staff, any use of electronic devices during this meeting shall be used solely for the purposes of township business, and any communications are subject to the Open Public Records Act. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Grayzel.
Here.
Mr. Ravitz.
Here.
Mr. Jonnada.
Here.
Ms. Rothman.
Here.
Mayor Guariglia.
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have the approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from December 17th, 2025 for a closed and regular meeting, the January 7th, 2026 reorganization meeting, and January 21st, 2026 for the closed and regular meeting?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
So tonight we have two proclamations on our agenda.
Mayor, just
Yes.
for the record, Committee Person Walsh is abstaining from those minutes. She wasn't here.
Rothman.
Sorry, sorry.
Okay, so we have two proclamations on tonight's agenda, and we're going to start with the Earth Day and Arbor Day, and Committeeman Jonnada will read the proclamation.
Okay. Whereas Earth Day is celebrated each year on April 22nd and Arbor Day will be observed on April 24th, 2026, and whereas both observances provide an opportunity to recognize and celebrate our planet and its natural resources while promoting environmental stewardship, and whereas the Township of Morris is committed to environmental stewardship through the efforts of the Environmental Commission, whose work helps preserve open space, protect natural resources, and enhance the quality of life for all the residents, and whereas the first Arbor Day was celebrated on April 10th, 1872, as a dedicated occasion for planting of trees to promote conservation and environmental well-being, and whereas community participation in tree planting, recycling efforts, and environmental programs strengthen the township's commitment to a sustainable future, and whereas Earth Day and Arbor Day are observed worldwide to inspire individuals and communities to take meaningful action to protect and preserve our environment for future generations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that in April 2026, the Morris Township Committee proudly recognizes Earth Day and Arbor Day and encourages all residents to support the Environmental Commission and participate in activities that preserve, protect, and enhance the township's natural resources for the benefit of present and future generations. Madam, thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Jonnada. The next proclamation that we have on the agenda is recognizing April 2026 as National Autism Acceptance Month, and Committeeman Grayzel will do this proclamation and present it.
Thank you. So supporting the special needs community has always been something that's very near and dear to my heart. My mother was a special education teacher growing up, and she taught me how much empathy this community really needs and care and support. And I've carried that with me since my childhood. We have a local organization here in Morris Township that we've acknowledged previously called SNAP, the Special Needs Athletic Program, and it's been hugely influential in the local community here. My son has been involved since he was 13 years old, and I'm proud to say that he's on the board of SNAP now and making an impact along with a lot of other young kids. It impacts their lives because they get to interact with the special needs community on a weekly basis. They would be here tonight, but they actually have a session tonight, so they couldn't make it here. But I also have a friend who works in this space also, Michael Alcanis, who's here with us tonight. He's a board, board member for Autism New Jersey, and he's going to say a few words. But I did want to read a couple lines from the proclamation before Michael comes up and speaks to us. So whereas autism or autism spectrum disorder is a developmental condition which affects communication, social interaction, and behavior and presents differently in each individual. And whereas, according to the Center of Disease CDC prevention, autism now affects approximately 1 in 36 children in the United States. And I think that number is actually increasing now that we have approved diagnostics that tell us who has the condition. Whereas organizations such as Autism New Jersey work to promote awareness, acceptance, and inclusion by providing education, advocacy, and resources for individuals with autism and their families. And I'll skip below. Whereas National Autism Acceptance Month provides an opportunity to foster greater understanding, promote inclusion, and celebrate the contributions of individuals with autism in our community. And so I'll present this to you to take back to the organization, but I welcome you to come up and say a few words, Michael.
So thank you to the entire committee for recognizing Autism Acceptance Month and allowing me the opportunity to speak. Thank you to my longtime colleague and friend, Jeff Grayzel, for all your advocacy, for all you do. I'm very proud to be here representing both Autism New Jersey and our company, Your Choice Home Care, where our work is centered around supporting individuals and families navigating life with developmental disabilities, specifically on that transition to adulthood. In the work we do, we speak with families every single day in this town, throughout the county, and throughout the state, all of which are navigating the realities of raising a child with autism. And while every story is different, there are some things we hear from families over and over again. The uncertainty, the exhaustion, the advocacy, and sometimes the feeling of being alone. But what's often missed is the resilience. These families become experts, advocates, and problem solvers. They fight for services, for inclusion, for dignity, not just for their child, but for the future that feels secure. And the good news is, when communities lean in, like this one is, one day real change will happen. So today matters. And even though we are celebrating here today this proclamation, which is greatly appreciated, and townships across the state are celebrating Autism Acceptance Month, it really is a 365-day job, especially for the moms in the room, because I speak to close to 36 families a week who are going through the trials and tribulations of raising a family member with special needs. And even though most of us talk about people in the schools, the adulthood is where some of the more severe problems start as parents begin to age. So I thank you for the recognition. I thank you for the acknowledgement of the importance of raising this awareness, and also acceptance, and also inclusion. So thank you.
Thank you.
And Michael, I'd like to give this to you, as you're probably going to be heading out soon. Can you take a quick picture?
Absolutely.
Okay. Take a picture, you got it? Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Committeeman Grayzel, for your advocacy on this issue. You have always been very outspoken, and autism touches so many of our lives in so many different ways that we appreciate you being here, and especially appreciate all that you bring to help people realize that it's not just something that's highlighted every once in a while. It's a lifelong situation that families have to go through, and luckily, so many of them do have the tenderness and kindness to help deal with what, from when they're very young to full-grown adults, so appreciate that.
Can I add one?
Absolutely,
Yes,
Deputy Mayor.
just want to let you know that my family's in that situation right now. So thank you again for doing what you're doing. And thanks to Jeff for reading the proclamation.
And like I've said before, and I'll say it again, I'm very proud of this governing body for taking the opportunity to put in supportive housing in our community whenever we have the chance to do that. We have more supportive housing being built this year in Morris Township, and not necessarily for the autistic community, but supportive housing for the community, the larger community in general. And we take that opportunity whenever we can.
Thank you. Before we open our first public comment session tonight, I am going to address the township's public statement on the lawsuit recently filed by the United States against the Township of Morris concerning our 2022 ordinance requiring certain apartment developments to be built as all-electric buildings. Let me be clear. We stand by this ordinance, and as such, we intend to defend it. We adopted this ordinance after thoughtful public consideration because we believed, and we continue to believe, it was the right policy for our community. Morris Township is experiencing significant apartment development. As new multifamily buildings are constructed, we have a responsibility to think not only about today, but about the long-term safety, health, environmental impact, and resilience for those buildings for decades to come. It is important to be clear about what this ordinance does and does not do. It only applies to newly constructed apartment complexes or apartment-style housing with 12 or more dwelling units. It does not apply to single-family homes, townhomes, or existing residences. This ordinance reflects responsible local planning. It advances climate leadership and environmental stewardship. Buildings are a major source of greenhouse gas emissions. Encouraging cleaner, modern electric construction in new large residential developments is a practical step towards reducing emissions, improving air quality, and preparing our community for the future. Local government should be able to make sensible decisions that help address climate change in ways that fit local needs. It also promotes public safety, especially the safety of our residents and our firefighters. Large apartment buildings with gas infrastructure can present risks associated with leaks, explosions, and more dangerous fire conditions. Our firefighters already put themselves in harm's way every time they respond to emergencies. If we can reduce hazards in future buildings through smarter design and safer energy systems, we should do so. It is also a matter of responsible growth. This ordinance applies prospectively to future large-scale development only. It does not require anyone to remove appliances from existing homes or buildings. It simply sets standards for a narrow category of new construction so that growth in Morris Township reflects modern priorities and sound planning. Residents should be assured that defending the township will be done responsibly. On tonight's agenda is a resolution authorizing the retention of highly respected outside counsel who have agreed to provide substantial pro bono legal support. That means the financial burden on township taxpayers will be minimal while we defend a policy we believe is lawful and in the public interest. At the same time, I think it is unfortunate that Morris Township has been drawn into a broader national dispute. Our township committee did not pass this ordinance to make a national statement or join an ideological fight. We passed it to serve Morris Township residents, to promote safer buildings, cleaner air, and responsible growth in our community. This lawsuit may be part of a larger political debate elsewhere, but here at home, our focus remains where it should be, protecting our residents, supporting our first responders, and planning wisely for the future. We respect the legal process, and we will respond through that process. But we will also continue to stand up for the right of local communities to make thoughtful decisions about their own development and public welfare. As this is ongoing litigation, I will not get into further specifics, but will provide periodic updates to the public on this matter when appropriate. Thank you. So we'll open our first public comment. There are currently 8 members of the public joining us via Zoom and 11 attending in person. At this time, we will open the meeting for public comment. We will begin with comments from those who are present in the room first, followed by those participating on Zoom. If you're participating on Zoom, please use the raise your hand feature. Before speaking, please state your name and whether you are a resident or non-resident for the record. Comments are limited to 5 minutes per speaker. If you have questions or would like a response, any remaining time will be used for that purpose. Is there a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good evening.
Good evening. Charlie Schachter, 10 Raleigh Court. So this is an interesting time to give this public comment because I agree wholeheartedly with the statement that you just gave about the lawsuit. And I think that your words about clean air and emissions and the environment and health all pertain to the subject that, as you all know, I'm here about tonight. Also, interestingly, transitioning from gas to electric is another theme I think that we see here. So as I have been since December coming to you to talk about the public health impacts of gas leaf blowers. And I just want to read again, I think I might have done this once before, a quote from the author James Fallows, who wrote in The Atlantic that pound for pound, gallon for gallon, hour for hour, gas-powered leaf blowers are vastly the dirtiest and most polluting kind of machinery still in legal use. And that's in our residential neighborhoods every day, okay? So I just really wanted to give you a couple of updates. I'm sure you either know or will find out by the end of this week that I have made an effort through my membership of the Environmental Commission that I hope you'll consider voluntary, educational. But I'd like to continue to pursue my track of trying to persuade the Township Committee to consider adopting ordinance. So just a couple of things I'd like to share as an update. One, my petition continues to grow. I now have 145 signatures. Two, walking around my neighborhood now that the spring has sprung and the leaf blowers have been out for spring cleaning, I personally noticed, and I have not been really mindful of this until now because I have not been as focused on this issue until now. I really noticed that the vast majority of landscapers are not wearing personal protective equipment. Now, I can't see what's in their ears, and I don't know if they're protecting themselves from the noise, but they're certainly not protecting themselves from the air pollution. And since these workers are generally immigrants who are working subsistence level jobs, I would call that a social justice issue. And if we can help make their lives healthier, I don't know why we wouldn't. Second update, S623 is a state legislation that has been reintroduced in January in Trenton. This proposed legislation prohibits the sale and use of certain gas-powered leaf blowers, namely two-stroke, and provides a corporate business tax credit for purchase of electric leaf blowers that replace gas-powered leaf blowers. Regulation, obviously, at the state level is optimal because it eliminates and relieves the township of doing something locally. There are a lot of details about this legislation that I could provide now, but I don't think I have the time. So I'd urge you to research it for yourselves. And I would urge that the township pass a resolution in support of S623, because I think it's important that this legislation get passed in Trenton. And finally, while you consider the possibility of regulating gas leaf blowers, I'd like to propose an amendment to the existing noise ordinance. Currently, I was amazed to learn that all construction and landscaping equipment are exempt. But in my mind, these are very different categories of tools, a backhoe and a leaf blower. Construction equipment is used infrequently and often outside of residential areas and for a defined set of time, right? Construction does not go on for indefinitely. Landscaping equipment, by contrast, is used regularly across seasons and primarily in residential neighborhoods. Thank you. With no clear endpoint. The amendment I'm proposing would be narrowly focused. It would apply only to leaf blowers and not other equipment like mowers and trimmers. So simply change the existing exemption you have in your existing noise ordinance. And I just don't understand. So as we talk, the rationale is straightforward. A typical gas leaf blower blows at about 80 decibels at 50 feet, 15 above the township's legal limit of 65. And this difference is not minor. It's perceived as 2.5 times louder by the human ear. And this would be the equivalent of driving 70 miles per hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. And I don't think we would ever create an exemption for that, perhaps for public safety, for fire and police. But we're not talking about fire police here. We're talking about leaf blowers. So the advantage of this approach, again, is its simplicity. It builds on an existing ordinance rather than requiring an entirely new one. And as always, I thank you for your time and consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions if there's any time for that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie.
Good evening.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Horahan. I live at 8 Sherman Place, and I happen to be a member of the Environmental Commission, but I'm not here tonight representing the Environmental Commission. But I do want to commend the Township Council for both of the proclamations for Earth Day and actually for all of the proclamations for Earth Day, Arbor Day, and for the Special Needs proclamation also. Happy Earth Day to everyone today. It's a great way to celebrate it. And I also want to commend the Township Council for defending the current ordinance that is planning for the future to require electric powering for multifamily complexes of 12 units or more. So I don't know the name of it, but I commend you for doing that. I did want to echo some of what Charlie said, that I'm very concerned about gas leaf blowers as well. The section of town that I live in has very small properties, so when there is a leaf blower, I work from home, and when there's a leaf blower, it's a very loud noise nuisance. But I also walk and run a lot in my neighborhood, and so when I go by a property that's having their leaves blown while I'm running, I feel like anyone who's doing physical exercise around that, you're inhaling. And so it's not only the fumes from the two-stroke engine, which is emitting a lot of harmful fumes, but it's also all of the dirt and anything else that's lying on the ground that's getting blown into the air, and it becomes something that you're then ingesting particles. And I believe that the two-stroke engine is of particular concern because I'm not that much of a motor person, but my understanding is that we all have catalytic converters on our cars because there is incomplete combustion that is happening with a gas piece of a gas burning engine or motor. And the catalytic converter, I believe, takes the unburned portion of the fuel and recirculates it and burns it. But the gas leaf blowers don't have a catalytic converter. So I believe that they are very harmful emitters. So I just wanted to say that, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm
Hello.
Gene Cass from, I live in the township, and I want to speak on leaf blowers personally and as a community kind of feeling. My experience is starting now. Just the other day, I was, starting to enjoy the spring and had the windows open. And of course, the landscapers came to do their work next door. And I go inside, I was out on the deck, so I go inside, I close all the windows because the breeze is bringing the fumes in. And I go inside and wait till them to disappear, wait for the landscapers to go away. And it happens twice a week, I guess, on average, because once on each side of the property, two different landscapers. So I don't think I'm not speaking just for myself. I think other people everywhere in town experience this because there are these landscapers. So I did speak to a business owner, it was a few years ago, who he went totally electric, and he was very happy with his business because he said the expenses were long-term were less than he was in the past because of there's virtually no maintenance on these machines. It's just swapping out the batteries. And finally, Morristown has their new rules, and Madison's considering it. So Morris Township's right in between. So I think, you're not like breaking new ground here. It would just fill in the donut to complete this. I think it's inevitable because so many tools, and especially landscaping things, and you've seen them in Home Depots and stuff, that the electrical equipment's getting a lot better, and it's getting to the professional grade use. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Seeing nobody else here. Wait a minute. Hello.
Hi, I'm Gail Biggs. I live at 30 Sherwood Drive in Morris Township. I'm really here just to really say that I support the ordinance to eliminate the gas leaf blowers. I live in a townhome community. They do a wonderful job of making it all shipshape, but I have a lovely screen porch I can't even sit on because the noise and the terrible dust that it brings up when they do this, which is often, is very bad, and it's bad for the men that are running these machines also. I have concern for the business owner, but I think the ordinance, if I read it correctly, you give people a certain amount of time. It isn't this going to happen overnight. So hopefully that would help. I think it's very important to pass this, and it fits in with the townships, I feel, having the philosophy of encouraging a healthy lifestyle in Morris Township. And if you don't mind, I'm going to branch off into something I've been meaning to do and say thank you so much for paving Southgate. I drive that road at least once a day, many times twice a day, and it is a joy. I ride my bike, people walk, and it's a joy to drive down. And the design was absolutely spot on, a big improvement. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We
It's a beautiful
appreciate
road.
that. Is there anybody else in the room who would like to approach the podium? Hello.
My name's Lorraine Singh. I don't have anything prepared. I live in the township for the last 30 years, and it's a lovely place to be. We're surrounded by all these beautiful parks and places to walk. And I feel that that this ordinance should be passed, that they're very unhealthy for everybody. And I think it's just not that necessary. to blow every leaf off your lawn. Lawns are not even a healthy thing to have either, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, the noise, I don't know how much the noise abatement is enforced. I doubt if it is, but it's just my pet peeve that they're just, everybody's striving to be healthier. We're all told to walk more, drink more water, eat healthy, grow vegetables, but this is just defeating everything. And it's inescapable because I understand people have bigger properties. I don't own personal property. I'm in a condo development, but I'm sure there are ways around addressing the issue if you insist on having, a leaf-free lawn. Get some landscapers with rakes. What's wrong with that? It's cheaper and it's cleaner. And they even have those, those mulching lawn mowers and things. It's overkill. I mean, I've watched them. They blow the leaves one direction, and then 5 minutes later, they're blowing them the other direction. And, I don't buy that that the landscapers can't afford to switch. They make a lot of money, and they probably pay these landscapers minimal pay. And I don't know for a fact, but I know a lot of them are paid in cash because they want to avoid paying taxes. So maybe the landscape owner should be pursued a little more. And the other peeve is that they take up the whole half of the road, and it's a dangerous issue. They should be made to pull onto a property if feasible. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. If there's nobody else here in the room, I see Brian O'Shea, you have your hand raised. Go ahead, Mr. O'Shea.
Yes, good evening. Yes, docket number 226 CV03412, United States of America v. Township of Morris, New Jersey et al. Sounds like a line from Law and Order, doesn't it? Alas, it's a real lawsuit with a real federal judge and real legal bills coming due on the taxpayers' dime. This is not the only active litigation against this township. There is also a prerogative writ action pending in Superior Court. That matter is sub judice, and out of respect for the court, I will not address its substance tonight. But I will say this: when a municipality finds itself defending its decisions in two separate courthouses at the same time, that is not bad luck. That is a pattern, and patterns have causes. The cause, in my view, is a failure of due diligence before this committee takes any actions. A failure to ask before voting the most basic question any legislative body should ask. Do we have the legal authority to do this? And have we followed every procedural requirement the law imposes on us? The federal case filed on March 31st is a textbook example. The Department of Justice alleges that Ordinance 08-22, the all-electric building ordinance this committee adopted in May of 2022, is preempted by the Federal Energy Policy and Conservation Act and is therefore void under the Supremacy Clause. I am not here tonight to debate the policy merits of electrification. I am here to ask how this committee came to adopt an ordinance in a field Congress had already preempted without availing itself of the one procedural avenue Congress provided. The legal framework was not a surprise. EPCA has preempted state and local regulation of the energy use of covered appliances for decades. Congress provided exactly one path for the municipality to regulate in this space: a waiver petition to the Department of Energy. Paragraph 42 of the DOJ's complaint states plainly that this township never sought that waiver. And the legal writing on the wall has been visible for some time. In January of 2024, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in California Restaurant Association v. City of Berkeley struck down a nearly identical gas ban on EPCA preemption grounds. The city of Berkeley subsequently repealed its ordinance. That decision had been publicly available to this committee for over 2 years, and no action was taken to review Ordinance 08-2 in light of it. This is what I mean by a pattern. Decisions get made, the due diligence that should precede them does not. Years later, the bills arrive, not to the members of this committee personally, but to every taxpayer in Morris Township. So tonight I am asking this committee 3 questions, and I'm asking for answers on the record. First, what is the township's current estimate of the legal cost to defend this action through judgment? Second, has this committee sought or received a legal opinion on the likelihood of prevailing given the Ninth Circuit's reasoning in the Berkeley case? Third, is this committee prepared to consider repeal or amendment of Ordinance 08-22 as an alternative to litigating to judgment, as the city of Berkeley ultimately chose to do? And beyond those 3 questions, I propose a border question. What is this committee going to change about its process before it votes, not after it gets sued, so that the pattern of taxpayer-funded litigation ends here? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cantor.
Yeah, so Mayor, I'd just like to respond briefly. I believe the resident missed the mayor's comments at the top of the meeting that the township has been offered and will be accepting tonight pro bono counsel from 2 prominent law firms. And as far as the criticism of this committee's diligence, at the time, the district court in California had upheld the municipal ordinance, and that was a complete ban of all gas throughout the entire, including single-family homes. It wasn't limited to apartment buildings. It was blanket. The Ninth Circuit did reverse the district court, but at the time it was good law. But I think what the resident probably is unaware of is since the Ninth Circuit's decision, there's been 3 reported cases directly on point. One coming out of New York, which is the Second Circuit. The district court upheld the municipal's ordinance, which is similar to ours. There was all, and I have the cases here. I can cite them for you. There was also a case in Maryland in which the district court upheld the a municipal ordinance similar to ours. And there's also been a district court case reported in the District of Columbia, which also upheld. So since the Ninth Circuit's decision, there's been 3 district courts that have upheld municipal ordinances with similar bans that the Township of Morris has. Each of those cases, we believe, one has already been appealed to the Second Circuit. Maryland sits in the Fourth Circuit. We believe that one's going to be appealed. And DC has its own circuit, so we believe that's going to be appealed. But currently, out of the report, there's 4 reported decisions, and the only decision against municipality comes out of the Ninth Circuit, which would not be binding on the Third Circuit. And we believe, given the structure of our ordinance, given the decisions of the district courts in the Second, Fourth, and DC Circuit, that our ordinance has a very high likelihood of success of being upheld by the district court, and ultimately if it gets appealed to the Third Circuit. So this committee did do its diligence. It did have the proper legal review before it went before it. So I don't think that's a proper criticism of this committee. And secondly, as the mayor stated, they've been very diligent in going out and finding resources and getting pro bono help to keep legal costs down. There will be some minimal costs, given that my firm will be involved in reviewing papers and making sure that there's coordination between the township and our pro bono counsel. But the lion's share of the work and the lion's share of the costs will not be borne on the township or its residents.
Thank you, Mr. Cantor. Thank you, Mr. O'Shea. We'll continue to keep the public updated as we continue through this process. Seeing no other hands raised, is there a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Tonight, we have One ordinance for public hearing and adoption. Madam Clerk, please read the title of ordinance 16-26 into the record, after which we will open the public hearing.
Ordinance 16-26. Ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. NJSA 40A 4-45.14 calendar year 2026. Note, authorizes the 2026 budget to be 3.5 above the 2025 budget, and any amount authorized that is not appropriated as part of the final budget may be retained as an exception to final appropriation in either of the next two succeeding years.
May I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance number 16-26?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any members of the public wishing to speak on this ordinance? Seeing none, will someone make a motion to close public comment?
So
on?
moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 16-26?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Ms. Rothman,
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel,
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mayor Griglia.
Yes. I, Donna, did someone say something? Oh.
I think somebody coughed.
I, Donna J. Guariglia, Mayor, declare ordinance number 16-26 approved and adopted, and direct the Township Clerk to publish notice of adoption on the Township website or as otherwise required by law. At this time, we will begin the presentation of the 2026 municipal budget. The presentation will be provided by Township Administrator Tim Quinn, Chief Financial Officer Sean Ferguson, and Township Auditor Valerie Dolan. Mr. Quinn, you may begin whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the committee. I am pleased to present to you the 2026 budget that was introduced back in March. With us tonight is our auditor from Ms. Savacha, Ms. Valerie Dolan, been working with us for many, many years. How we've done this in the past, I always like to start with Ms. Dolan, and then we'll get into the nuts and bolts of the budget, and Mr. Ferguson will be assisting me with that as we go through it.
Okay.
Ms. Dolan?
I just want to make a couple statements that the budget has been reviewed and signed off by Nisavacia for our review with all statutory compliance in the budget guidelines. The township's budget also this year was subject to its review by the division. You were subject this year, you were in the 3-year review. You actually have completed the approval and have received the state's approval to adopt your budget also this evening. This budget is within the statutory appropriation cap and the tax levy caps required by the state of New Jersey. Also, I will say there's nothing in this budget that would consider or place an unnecessary burden on future budgets. I do want to make a comment that I commend the efforts made this year by all those parties involved in putting together a fiscally sound budget that was balanced and thoughtful to the residents of Morris Township, while Morris Township's desire to not eliminate services to all of the residents. As you will hear later, was a very challenging year for many municipalities across the state in preparing their budgets. While there is a small increase in the township this year, it is on the lower end that we are seeing across the state. Our firm does about 90 municipalities, and this is one of our lowest budgets that we are introduced and adopting this evening. I believe this is because Morris Township continues to be fiscally responsible year after year and ensuring that their budget decisions that you make each year are not on a single thought process, but are always with future budgets in mind.
Thank you, Ms. Dolan. As we commence, I also want to thank all of our department heads that work diligently. It's a long process. We started in October and starting putting things together. They know the fiscal constraints of the township they worked at, so they're coming in with what they actually are needing for to run their departments, operating expenses, salaries, capital projects. They're not trying to come in and ask for 100,000 when they need 50,000. If they need 50,000 for something, they're asking for 50,000. And we've all worked with the standing committees for each of the departments, and, you know, a lot of time and effort went for each of you in assisting us as we reviewed each of the department's budgets throughout the process in November and December and a little bit of January. And then taking on the finance committee, which was primarily Mayor Guariglia, for the most part, going through the process, along with Mr. Ferguson and myself, and bringing everything together for the introduction that was done back in March. And again, thank you for Ms. Dolan here and Ms. Savacia. They're always there at a phone call, and as things come up and we have questions, and, you know, how close are we to the cap, and, you know, can we do this? Is this, you know, permissible? Those kinds of things, and always right there for us in getting us the correct answers. So, so as in every year, we have challenges, and we certainly had our challenges for 2026. Employee costs, salary and wages of approximately 3%. The biggest one is health insurance. Our health insurance premiums went up 31% with the state health benefits plan. And we saw, you know, significant increases on our pension payments, especially the police and fire pension, which we'll get into a little bit. We still have our challenges with our swim pools and the minimum wage for our lifeguards, the operating expenses for that, and making sure that we have enough lifeguards to run the pools for the entire summer with 2 pools. We have debt service interest. Last year, we saw a reduction in our debt service with paying off one of our notes, but we've been on bond anticipation notes for this year. Now we're starting to pay some of the principal, so we saw some increases on that. State aid, which really isn't state aid, I'll get into a little bit later. It's really energy tax receipts, and it's been flat for the last 15 years, and to no surprise, it's flat again. Our year-end fund balance came in approximately what it was in 2024 for the end of 2025, and we have the 2% appropriations cap that we're always looking at, and that's one of the things that Mr. Ferguson and Ms. Dolan and I constantly look at to make sure that we're in compliance for that moving forward. So the budget process is what we do. As I said, we start in October, November. We're starting to work with our department heads to put those requests for the operating budgets to prepare them along with their capital budgets. They come in, we get all those right in the middle of November, and we start working on those, setting up the standing committee reviews that take place in December and January, going over each of those budgets. And then we bring it into January and February, where we're working with the finance committee, Mr. Ferguson and myself, bringing everything together of all the different budgets and the different requests from all of our 16 departments and our 3 utilities. March was the introduction of the budget, and that brings us tonight for the adoption of the budget. So, talked a little bit about state aid. It's really energy tax receipts. We get about $3.3 million a year. We've been getting that since 2010. We should be getting about $6 million a year on that. So it's interesting when at first the municipalities, the state took it over. In 2001, we got $4.5 million. In 2007, $4.8 million. And then it started to drop in 9 and 10. And we've been, you know, at that $3.3 million for the last 17 years. Our pension costs are up. This is an assessment that is done by the state. We're up about 4% this year. On our public employees, it's just under $30,000 at $29,000. On our police and fire pensions, it's up $114,000. It's an overall increase for 4%. One of the things that we've always looked at, and it's now has stabilized over the last couple of years, and we were seeing was the recycling and tipping fees were very, very challenging, especially on the recycling side, where they were up and down, but they have stabilized. And pleased that that budget line item is going to stay the same as it was in the past 2 years. So one of the things that we have to deal with every year is the cost of state mandates. These are expenses that are, you know, beyond the township's control. It's either an assessment or things that we have to provide by state law to our employees. As I said, we were going up on our public employees an increase of 24,000. Police and fire, 114,000. Social Security, 47,000. That increase on the health insurance is over $500,000. So just on those alone, we're just under $700,000 that has to be raised in the budget for the cost of the state mandates. Township has always been very fiscally conservative on keeping our municipal debt. We keep on following the policy that we're only going to bring on debt of what we retire. And we continue to do that again with this year's budget. We are retiring about $2.8 million, but we will bring that on, as you will see later on in the capital budget, along with what other projects we can fund, where we're paying 100% of the cost, so they're not going into debt for those projects. So the other variables that we have, and this is also a part of our challenging year that we have here, we have 5 union labor contracts, 2 with fire, 2 with police, and 1 that covers our Department of Public Works, our Parks Department, and our sewer utility employees. All of those contracts expired at the end of December, and we're working through them. We're currently in contract negotiations. It'll also be part of the budget that we have to then kind of project how are we going to come out of contract negotiations and, make sure that when we do come to a settlement that we have enough funds to support that. So Mr. Ferguson and I work on that, looking at different scenarios as to what we can do and making sure that what we budget for salaries and wages will be sufficient for once we settle with those different contracts. You'll also see an increase in the library costs for this year. Library costs are based on equalized value of the assessment, so they do go up. We have a shared library with Morristown, and we split that as it goes, but it's based on the equalized value. So, but it is one that, although it's going up, over $100,000, it's raised as a separate tax. So it's in our budget, but it's on both sides of the ledger. We spoke a little bit about the state aid, the energy tax receipts that have done that. But one of the other things that significantly helped us this year and kept us, so we are asking for a 3% raise, where many towns are, much higher, closer to 7, 8, 9%. We had $111 million increase in our rateable base, from office building improvements to the Red Bulls facility, other things that have helped us. And hopefully we'll see more increase in the rateable base for 2026. So, grants are challenging. We're not getting as many grants as we used to coming out. Right now, we have 2 grants. Usually we have more by this point. We're certainly going to get more as the year goes on. Our Municipal Alliance grant's been steady for the last several years. Our Bulletproof Vest Fund for the police officers, we've got the state so far. We're still waiting on the federal. We're still waiting on our Clean Communities grant, which will be about $60,000 that we can go back into for the cleanup of the community, the salaries for those parks individuals that do that. We also have the Drunk Driving Enforcement Fund that should be coming. That's a surcharge that goes on every drunk driving conviction that comes back to the township for drunk driving enforcement. And then we also have the tonnage grant that we get back for what we recycle, so that we can put that back into our recycling costs to help offset that. That should be somewhere around the $35,000 range. And then there's some other smaller grants that we certainly anticipate coming through. We have 4 or 5 grant applications right now that are out there. Hopefully we get some of them. We did put one in for the local recreation improvement grant last year that we were hoping to get, and unfortunately we did not get that for one of our playgrounds. So we'll be looking at how to fund that in future budgets. So what we always want to do is keep our high level of services that we provide to our residents, whether it's police, fire, EMS, OEM, emergency responses, our health services. We have a full-time public health nurse, a health education program run by our health official, and putting out all those to our residents, along with and moving on to providing waste disposal, recycling, and the road maintenance by our Department of Public Works. And we have one of the premier recreation departments and the different recreation programs that we provide to our residents, from toddlers all the way to our seniors, and many different types of programs. And we have the senior room down here, so we can offer those services and programs also during the day to our seniors. And then we have our professional services, and that is our CFOs, our municipal clerk, our construction officials, tax assessor, tax collector, admin, that all work together hand in hand to provide exceptional services to our residents. One of the things that we do try and help offset costs is for shared services. We have the joint court with Madison, Chatham Township, and Chatham Borough that's saving us hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. We have contracts with our neighbors for sewer. Most sewer runs on gravity, so some we take and some we give away. But all of those agreements and working with the different municipalities for that. And then we have the joint public library with Morristown. And then we also have a joint service with the County of Morris for our public safety communications, mutual aid, and shared resources. And we continue to look at shared services with other municipalities with the pyramid. How does it benefit Morris Township? Is this, worthwhile for Morris Township before looking into it? So with that, I'm going to ask Mr. Ferguson. He's going to do all the financials for the budget, and I will turn it over to her.
All right, we'll get into some of the numbers for this year's budget. Some of the key offsets that are actually going to help budget this year. The pilots are increasing by about $210,000. That comes from the commercial pilots being fully occupied for the marketplace district. We have almost $250,000 through our investments. Our earnings and investments have been able to stabilize, and we're able to maintain a decent amount of investment income coming in. Our licensing permits and fees have continued to increase over the past couple of years, which has been helpful. And also what Tim had mentioned is the increase in ratables of $111 million, or $111 million, which gives us an increase of $520,000. Our anticipated revenues this year, we're including $6.5 million in fund balance, which is the same as last year, to help offset some of the costs. We have $9.9 million in miscellaneous revenue through our collection of license permits, fees, etc. And our municipal taxes are at $26,475,000. And the challenging part, to our appropriations. A couple of items that we had to contend with this year, where salary and wages were up almost $830,000. That's net of retirements, new hires, union contracts, etc. We're going in with no new headcounts for the year. Our operating expenses are up over $700,000. $500,000 is the health premiums themselves. Again, statutory expenditures, which include our pensions, our Social Security, that's up over $200,000. And our capital programs, which one of the areas that we can kind of put some restraint on, it's the same as 2025, just covering small new projects with kind of debt. And finally, debt service is up $150,000, which is taking into consideration interest on bands and principal payments for the bands themselves. Get into our capital programs, staying consistent with our debt policy, tying new authorizations to the amounts retired. Our capital bond program is coming in $2.8 million for projects, which is also a portion of that is funded through capital improvement fund and capital fund balance, which offsets about $185,000 of that as a down payment. Programs that we're looking to cover are our annual overlay and crack sealing throughout the township, Bakerfield Farm playgrounds, Lake Valley Road sidewalk projects and intersection alignments, along with Ketch Road and Lake Road sidewalk projects. We have a new DPW truck that we're purchasing this year, and the Jean Street Community Center design phase project that we're still involved with. For some of the capital programs that we're being fully funded without any debt involved, we have a capital improvement program. We got $320,000, which is covering police equipment, improvements to the OEM trailer, and our general services, sidewalk and storm basin repairs, drainage, curbing, which are annual contributions towards infrastructure. Capital outlay, which is basically our 1-year use it or lose it programs. We have about $230,000 appropriated for security cameras, DPW improvements, municipal office improvements, parks equipment, and continuing ash tree removal throughout the township. Our capital fund program, which is coming out of the fund balance that we have available, we have $641,000 going towards fire equipment, SPCA equipment, firehouse improvements, sports court lighting upgrades, security cameras for Collinsville Playground, and road reconstruction projects. And we also do have some open space money that we're putting out for, what do we have, Dave? Yeah, $278,000. Sorry, I don't have it on my paper here. It's dangerous tree removals, shrub and meadow planting, and some open space projects that, will be funded for the open space collections.
So we look at our property values that help out, and for our taxes that are raised for the library, for the county, for the school district, they're all based on equalized ratio. So our assessed property values, are $5.5 billion. Our equalized ratio has dropped from 78.9% last year to 72.98% this year. That's actually a good thing for our residents because that means that their homes are worth that much more. So it's the inverse for that. So our equalized, value has gone up significantly from last year, and you'll see that reflected once we get into what we're paying for the school district, the library, and the county of Morris, which bases their budget off an equalized ratio throughout the county for all the municipalities. Looking at the total property tax rate for this coming year, we are, recommending a 3% municipal tax increase. That equates to approximately $81 per year for the average household of $600,000. The county, as I said, is based on equalized. We are still at 5.5% of their budget. So we're projecting that number is going to remain very close to what it was for last year. For the school, we've seen a little bit of a difference in the ratio. You may recall last year we saw a very significant decrease in the ratio where one time we were paying 2/3 of the school budget. That dropped down to 58% last year. We're seeing a little bit going back up this year to 59%. With that, we're seeing approximate increase this year of $83 on the school budget. Based on the open space, the Township Committee also, the value of open space was to increase the open space tax from 0.013 to 0.015, bringing it back where it was a number of years ago, approximately 15 years ago. And we've been gradually doing that for the last 3 years, is bringing it back to that 0.015, and that's an increase of $12 per household. The library, you'll see, is going up about $15 per household because of the equalized value. So where we're seeing that benefit for that, it also factors into what our assessment is. It's a state formula called a third of a mil that establishes what goes to the library. So it's all done. We don't negotiate that. We don't do anything else. That we get, quote unquote, our assessment is what it's going to be. So we're looking at the total tax bill for the township to resident to be just over $12,000 a year. It's an overall increase of approximately $191 per household. So, We always like to look at the, property tax distribution. As you know, we collect the money, but we only get to spend 23%. So the majority of it is going to the school district, 60%. County gets 15%, and the library gets 2%. But we are right around 23. We've been at that number for a number of years, and that's pretty steady where we're going to be. So just kind of looking at, what we've seen, the increases between the municipal rate and the school rate. Municipal rate has always tried to be a little bit lower than the school rate over the years, as you can see, where that bottom line that's, relatively flat in the school district is a little bit different. And we do extremely well in the collection of taxes. Our tax rate is well over 99%. We do budget in there what's called the reserve for uncollected taxes. If I get it right?
You got it
On the
right.
You
got it right.
It's
Got the right.
so it's about, it equals to about 97.10 overall. It's about $3.2 million that goes into the budget every year. It helps stabilize that. We're going to talk about a little bit later with our fund balance. And speaking of fund balance, back
Here we go. What we have here is just some of the positive aspects of maintaining a stable fund balance. It allows us to roll, balance forward into the following year to avoid any tax spikes. It maintains a levy cap of 2%. Also, it's insurance against any loss of revenue and available for any emergency appropriations that may come around for any natural disasters or anything of that nature. And also for any tax bills that might come up during the year. In regard to that, we have our fund balance policy. Township policy is to maintain a fiscally conservative position, safeguard its financial stability. This approach supports the preservation of the township's AAA credit rating and ensures that the sufficient funds are available to address any unforeseen circumstances. A healthy fund balance also provides essential cash flow liquidity for the township for day-to-day operations. Insufficient levels could expose the township to fiscal stress, potentially leading to substantial increases. Maintaining an adequate fund balance allows the township to sustain a stable tax rate and avoid significant fluctuations. Fiscal responsibility, requires the township to maintain an unreserved fund balance in the range of 15 to 20% of appropriations. For the 26 budget, it aligns with the township's conservative fiscal strategy, maintaining a fund balance of 16.4%, which falls within the established target rate. And here's just a little history of the fund balance over the past 8 years or 9 years we have on there. As you can see, we've been able to maintain our year-end fund balance to keep it stable, and also been able to use an amount to appropriate towards our budget in order to help offset our taxes. Now we're going down to our utility funds, which are separate funds altogether from the current fund and general capital. We have our sewer utility, which is this year is coming in at $9,620,000. And again, it's sustained by its own fees. We have some miscellaneous revenues that come through, and also we support by some fund balance through the sewer utility itself. We have our parking utility, enterprise utility, which again is all appropriations are funded through the permits and meter fees that are collected, and it's self-sustaining. And finally, we have our swimming pool, which is coming in at $1.7 million. Majority of it's covered by fees, and we have a band premium that has been collected off of the notes, which allows us to fund some of the revenues, and it's also funded through the swim pool deficit, which is a funding source which allows us to cover the debt service, which is a little extended above our operations.
We do have a good note, though.
Yes.
This is the last year for the 2016 debt of $420,000 payment plus interest that we no longer have to make after this year.
That's great.
Yes. Yay.
They,
Good job.
So that is our 2026 budget. As we mentioned before, we are maintaining all of our services. We have our capital program is fully funded, so we can maintain our annual road overlay, crack sealing program, general services for drainage curbing improvements, infrastructure improvements as needed, and also making sure that our equipment, our trash trucks and other things are up and viable and, that they're reliable for that. So we are asking for a 3% municipal tax levy increase, primarily driven by, state cost mandates that are, somewhat beyond our control. So our increase for 2026 is just under $7 per month for the average residential property assessed at $600,000. It comes out to just under $84 a year. Again, I think this is a very fiscally responsible budget following the township's longtime policy about being fiscally responsible, and that we've been able to complete that again in a very challenging budget year. We did make a lot of cuts through that, things that we could, would have been nice to get a few new vehicles and other things to replace, but we'll get through what we need to for this year and hopefully better news for next year with that.
Thank you very much. Mr. Quinn, before we open up for public comment on the budget, is the slide deck, the presentation already up on the website, or after tonight will the...
Tomorrow going up will be the budget document, the user-friendly budget document.
Okay.
That's user-friendly to everybody except for the CFO.
Okay.
And the budget presentation.
Okay, because I think for the residents out there, sometimes the presentation is really easy to go through and very easy to read and makes a lot of sense for those who don't want to get into all the line items.
As long as you guys adopt it tonight, we're good.
Right, after adoption.
Yes. And again, when we do the budget, we're always looking 5 years down the road. We don't want to do things this year that, hey, did we get this nice pile of money here and let's go spend it and then not have it for next year. It was like the COVID money that came in. We did not use that for operating expenses. We used that, the American Rescue Plan money for special projects so that it did not have an adverse impact on future years' budgets by spending it and then trying to fill in that gap after that. And that's the same follow-up we do on a lot of things is looking long-term, what's coming in. We don't, we saw some, with Mr. Ferguson and canceling some debt services and everything, those funds came in. We just didn't take that and roll it all into the budget. We're looking at a 4-year program to start rolling that back into the budget. Again, we'll, cost of goods and services, insurance premiums. We think we're going to be, have some challenges coming up with healthcare insurance for 2027. And, our revenue projections have been going up, so hopefully they will continue to go up for that. And then, as always, the impact of our state aid, health benefits, and pension costs are, our drivers that we have to drive. So, so that will, conclude our presentation for tonight on it. Certainly open it up to the Township Committee, Mayor and Township Committee for any questions. And then
Before we go to the public, any comments or questions from the Township Committee?
No, please, ladies first.
Committeeman Rothman.
Excuse me. I just wanted to say that this has been my first budget process, and I came in, quite late in the game. And as a long-term resident who, over the years, has seen, a lot of improvements. I know just on my street, I got a sidewalk, the new trash service. Well, the first time I saw that small dumpster appear, I thought, how am I going to wheel that thing out? It's been amazing. So I feel from the resident side, every year, we are seeing improvements in the township, but then being on the committee and getting to kind of peek behind the curtain and see how the sausage is made, I was really pleasantly surprised and impressed with the thoughtfulness and the long-term thinking that goes into this process. I'd also like to say that I was really impressed with Mr. Ferguson's ability to take the money that we bring in and make money on that money. That, that takes talent to do. So I just appreciate all the hard work that went into this, and also the committee members who I know have been working on this before my arrival. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Ravitz?
Of course, I'm going to echo what Committeeman Rothman just said, although except for the bin, I don't have as long a driveway as she does. Again, this is my sixth budget process. This is the sixth year in a row that, for me, that our township has had a AAA bond rating. The fiscally conservative practices that we use as various township committees has been steadfast for us. We continue to be, and in my mind, the crown jewel of Morris County in the way that this township is run. And I want to thank all of our professionals, the folks on the township committee who are part of the budget process. First, certainly our auditor, and we have done an incredible job. And I am so proud and I'm so thrilled to have been part of that, for the residents of the township for the last 6 years. So kudos to all the township committees that have come before me and this township committee, and continued good fiscal health into the future.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, we'll open up the public hearing for comments for the 2026 municipal budget. Please state your name and if you're a resident or non-resident for the record before speaking. Please note the comments are limited to 5 minutes per speaker. If you have questions you would like answered, returning time to speak will be yielded back for that purpose. May I have a motion to open the public comment?
Second.
Members of the public speak. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Mr. Schachtner.
Charlie Schachter, 10 Raleigh Court. I didn't expect to get up to talk about this portion of the meeting, but since I'm here and I heard it, first of all, again, I want to commend the township on its incredible level of financial responsibility and fiscal just stewardship. I've been a resident for over 20 years, and very pleased with the way the township spends our precious tax dollars. As you guys know, every dollar is precious these days. Because of my membership on the Environmental Commission, I have a special interest in the Open Space Fund. And I was just curious because as I noticed here, of the $278,500 that was allocated, $40,000 for tree trimming, $15,000 for plantings, that left $223,000 for what's called various open space improvements. And it says that there's a project list filed in the Department of Finance. So I was just curious, because that's relatively vague, and I was just kind of curious about what those specifically projects were. Is that list available to the public, or will that list even be presented to the Environmental Commission so we can provide advice on those projects?
Yes,
Quinn?
you also see it later on tonight in the open space. There'll be an ordinance for that.
Ah, wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Seeing nobody else and seeing no hands raised, is there a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, Mr. Quinn will read the resolution for adoption into the record.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll read the resolution and I will ask you to do a motion and a roll call. This comes from page 41 of the budget document. Be it resolved by the committee persons of the Township of Morris, County of Morris, that the budget herein before set forth is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated of the sums therein set forth as appropriations and authorization of the amount of $26,473,832.26 for municipal purposes and $834,307.94 for open space, recreation, farmland, and historic preservation trust fund levy, and $2,490,569 as the minimum library tax.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve and adopt the 2026 budget and tax resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Ravitz,
Enthusiastically, yes.
Ms. Rothman,
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel,
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mayor Griglia.
Yes. Mr. Quinn?
Notice is hereby given that the budget and tax resolution has been approved by the Township Committee of the Township of Morris, County of Morris, on April 22nd, 2026. Mr. Ferguson did pull out our capital budget spreadsheet, which includes the open space projects. He'll read those into.
For our 26 open space trust projects that we have set up for some capital improvements. First one, second's a little small for my eyes, but we have, is it Corman Field? Cormine Field, step replacement and retaining walls. We have Lake Road infield renovations, Greenfield infield renovations, Freelandheisen infield renovations, Jones Wood Preserve deer fence, and the emerald ash trees and shrubs, which we've talked about, and that's covers the 278. I have a breakdown of the dollar
Open
amounts if
space.
anybody's interested.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson. Are you finished?
Yes, ma'am, we're done.
Okay, before I let you go, though, just have to say, which I know you've heard, but on behalf of the Township Committee, and especially on the behalf of all our residents, we can't thank you enough. The hard work that Ms. Dolan and Ms. Sabaccia, that you do for us, and again, not only Mr. Quinn and Mr. Ferguson, but all the department heads, everybody in this building, and the Township Committee members that do sit down and meet with the different departments to go through this process. Every year it just gets better and better. I feel like it's such a fine-tuned machine, and yet the challenges that we face, they're really hard decisions to be made. So we just can't thank you enough. Excellent work, and the residents of Morris Township should be proud that they have people at this level to doing this kind of work. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
We have 9 ordinances for introduction on tonight's agenda. Madam Clerk, please read the title of ordinance number 17-26 into the record.
Ordinance 17-26, bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the Township of Morris, appropriating the aggregate amount of $2,993,000, therefore including a grant in the amount of $200,000 expected to be received from the State of New Jersey Department of Transportation, and authorizing the issuance of $2,609,000 bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof. Note provides funding for various township capital improvements, including $200,000 NJ DOT grant, with the remaining costs financed through bonds and notes.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 17-26?
So
Second.
Any questions? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Ms. Rothman,
yes.
Mr. Ravitz,
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel,
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mayor Griglia.
Yes. The public hearing and final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 17-26 will be held on Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Building, 50 Woodland Avenue. Madam Clerk, please read the title of ordinance 18-26 into the record.
18-26, ordinance appropriating $641,000 available in the general capital fund balance to provide for various capital improvements by the Township of Morris. Note appropriates general capital fund balance for various township capital improvements.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 18-26?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel,
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz,
Yes.
Ms. Rothman,
Yes.
Mayor Griglia.
Yes. The public hearing and final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 18-26 will be held on Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Building, 50 Woodland Avenue. Madam Clerk, please read the title of ordinance 19-26 into the record.
19-26, ordinance appropriating $320,000 available in the General Capital Improvement Fund to provide for various capital improvements by the Township of Morris. Note, appropriates general capital improvement fund for various township capital improvements.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number, are we on 18 or 19?
19.
19-26.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Grayzel.
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada.
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Ms. Rothman.
Yes.
Mayor Griglia.
Yes. The public hearing and final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 19-26 will be held on Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. at the Municipal Building, 50 Woodland Avenue. Madam Clerk, please read the title of ordinance 20-26 into the record.
20-26, an ordinance appropriating $278,500 available in the Open Space Trust Fund to provide for various open space improvements by the Township of Morris. Note, appropriate Open Space Trust Fund for various open space improvements.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 20-26?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada.
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel.
Yes.
Ms. Rothman.
Yes.
Mayor Griglia.
Yes. The public hearing and final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 20-26 will be held on Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Building, 50 Woodland Avenue. Madam Clerk, please read the title ordinance of 21-26 into the record.
Ordinance 21-26. Ordinance appropriating $1,250,000 available in the Sewer Utility Capital Improvement Fund to provide for various capital improvements by the Township of Morris. Note, appropriates sewer utility capital improvement funds for various capital improvements.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 21-26?
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Jonnada.
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel.
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Ms. Rothman.
Yes.
Mayor Griglia.
Yes. Public hearing and final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 21-26 will be held on Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Building. Madam Clerk, please read the title ordinance 22-26 into the record.
22-26, an ordinance appropriating $50,000 available in the Parking Enterprise Capital Improvement Fund to provide for various capital improvements by the Township of Morris. Note, appropriates Parking Enterprise Capital Improvement Fund for various capital improvements.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 22-26?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Grayzel.
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada.
Yes.
Ms. Rothman.
Yes.
Mayor Griglia.
Yes. The public hearing and final consideration of ordinance number 22-26 will be held on May 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Building, 50 Woodland Avenue. Madam Clerk, please read the title of ordinance 23-26 into the record.
23-26, an ordinance appropriating $75,500 available in the Swim Pool Utility Capital Fund balance to provide for various capital improvements by the Township of Morris. Note, appropriates Swim Pool Utility Capital Fund balance for various capital improvements.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 23-26?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada.
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel.
Yes.
Ms. Rothman.
Yes.
Mayor Griglia.
Yes. The public hearing and final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 23-26 will be held on Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Building. Madam Clerk, please read the title of ordinance 24-26 into the record.
24-26, an ordinance appropriating $437,000 available in the Sewer Utility Capital Fund balance to provide for various capital improvements by the Township of Morris. Note, appropriates Sewer Utility Capital Fund balance for various capital improvements.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 24-26?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Grayzel.
Yes.
Ms. Rothman.
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada.
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mayor Griglia.
Yes. The public hearing and final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 24-26 will be held on Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Building. Madam Clerk, please read the title of the last ordinance into the record.
Ordinance 25-26, an ordinance of the Township of Morris providing for a special emergency appropriation in the amount not to exceed $250,000 to fund the engagement of a special consultant for the preparation of a master plan. Note, authorizes a special emergency appropriation to hire consultants to prepare the township's master plan.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 25-26?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Ravitz?
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada?
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel?
Yes.
Ms. Rothman?
Yes.
Mayor Griglia?
Yes. The public hearing and final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 25-26 will be held on Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Building, 50 Woodland Avenue. Tonight, we have 15 resolutions on the agenda. 3 additional resolutions were added following the closed session, and we will address them separately. May I have a motion to approve resolution numbers 89-26 through 103-26 by one motion?
Mayor, I respectfully request we pull 103 and discuss it separately.
Okay, so then I'm asking
Oh,
for...
yeah, so I'll move
What's the next one?
89-26 to 102-26. And do you want to add the other 3? The one of, or we're going to read them into the record?
We're going to,
We'll
We're going to do them
separate. Okay.
separately.
So I'll move
So next
89
one.
through 102-26.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
2-26. Mr. Grayzel?
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada?
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz?
Yes.
Ms. Rothman?
Yes.
Mayor Griglia?
Yes. So do you want to do 103 now or do the others first?
Yeah, we'll do a motion for 103 and then have a discussion.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve 103-26.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, we'll go through the discussion.
Yeah, I mean, we've had issues with SMC MUA that we've discussed in public here at the meeting, and we talked about this appointment previously, and I was not aware that we were going to be doing the appointment tonight. So we had talked about speaking to Mr. Longman. I was wondering if that had happened.
Yes, sir. Of course it did.
Yep. And
He graciously accepted they'd like to continue serving.
I assume so. And what about the issues that we had discussed?
They were discussed with him. He'd like to continue to serve.
Okay. And was anybody else in the meeting?
No, sir, it was just me and a phone call,
Uh-huh. Okay.
following what I was advised to do when we came out of this closed session.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Any other?
I thought there would be a discussion, but okay. Or I thought you would
Who
be part
moved
of it.
it?
One of us would be part of the discussion.
That wasn't the direction I was given, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Who made the motion and seconded?
Donna made the motion, I'm sorry, the mayor made the motion and Committeeman Grayzel
Seconded.
seconded.
Okay. Ready for roll call?
If there's no other discussion.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have sufficient information to vote on it, so you can go ahead, but I'm not going to vote for it.
Did you second?
I think he seconded it to get the discussion.
I get the second.
Doesn't mean that.
Discussion going?
Right, this
We
isn't
should take a roll call vote.
So Madam Clerk, the mayor moved it and Committeeman Grayzel seconded it. And
Okay.
now the mayor's asked for roll call.
Okay.
Yep.
Mayor Griglia?
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel?
No.
Mr. Jonnada?
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz?
Yes.
Ms. Rothman?
Yes.
Now we have to do 104.
Yep. Madam Clerk, please read resolution number 104-26.
Am I just reading the title or am I reading the whole thing?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, yep. Thank you, Mr. Cantor.
We had several items in closed session, and they resulted in resolutions. One, we had a personnel matter that was discussed in closed session, and coming out of it, we're placing resolution 104-26, which is I'm sorry, excuse me. We had I guess it's also a personnel matter.
Yes.
Yeah. Denying a grievance filed by Morris Township PDA Local Number 133, grievance number 26-01. The resolution will be denied to step 3 grievance for the reasons set forth in the prior letters of denial.
May I have a motion to approve Resolution 104-26?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Ms. Rothman,
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel,
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mayor Guariglia.
Yes. Mr. Cantor?
We also had a discussion in closed session regarding another personnel matter. The result of that is we had a resolution 105-26 titled Authorization for Township Morris Staff to Process an Involuntary Disability Retirement Application. This involves William Forst, Director of the Township's Parks and Recreation Department. And this authorizes the Township for an involuntary disability retirement application on his behalf.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve Resolution 104-26?
What was
Sorry,
it?
it's 105.
Oh, 105. 105-26.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Grayzel,
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz,
This is a hard vote, but yes.
Ms. Rothman,
Yes.
Mayor Guariglia.
Yes.
And lastly, Mayor, we had a discussion in closed regarding open litigation. It was a matter that was discussed prior, U.S. v. Township of Morris. As the mayor stated at the top of the meeting, the township will be engaging 2 firms. Those firms are the Plaquin Firm LLP and Democracy Forward. And this is a resolution authorizing the township to enter into a retainer agreement with those firms. And the title is a resolution of the Township Committee of the Township of Morris authorizing the execution of a legal services agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Cantor. May I have a motion to approve Resolution 106-26?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Ravitz,
Absolutely, yes.
Mr. Jonnada,
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel,
Yes.
Ms. Rothman,
Yes.
Mayor Guariglia.
Yes. Tonight, we have 2 items on the consent calendar. Can I have a motion to approve the items on the consent calendar by one motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consideration of monthly reports. The following reports are on file in the office of the Township Clerk and Township Administrator. February 2026, Police and Joint Municipal Court. March 2026, Tax Collector, Joint Municipal Court, and the Morris Township Library. Can I have a motion to approve the monthly reports?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Claims for payment, list of bills and vouchers. The total amount of bills and vouchers for this meeting is $13,470,447.67. We are also the tax collector for the school district, the library, and the county. May I have a motion to approve the list of bills and vouchers?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada.
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel.
Yes.
Ms. Rothman,
Yes.
Mayor Guariglia.
Yes. Received for the record, we have the resignation of Michael Chumer from the SMC MUA Board of Members and 14 different tax appeals. At this time, we will start with our standing committee reports, and we'll start with Committeewoman Rothman.
Nothing specific to report. Two things I wanted to talk about was, one is that New Jersey is still in a drought warning. For those of you that don't know, we've been below average rainfall for over 2 years now. We're still at a current deficit of 25%. So while it feels like spring and it's a little bit rainy out, please know that we are short water, so please be conscious in your water use. Also, the e-bike, the e-bike law is coming. They're anticipating this law will take effect by July 20th. For those of you that don't know, all e-bikes in the state of New Jersey will need to be registered with DMV, and that you'll need insurance for the e-bike. as well as I do not believe anyone under the age of 15 will be able to ride an e-bike. So please take note of that. And, you know, before that takes effect, please still be safe with e-bikes. So there's that. The last thing I wanted to mention is from the TAC committee. One of the things that I've been talking about has been the bridge at Normandy Parkway. We have been moving forward in communication with New Jersey Transit. For those of you that aren't aware, there was a vehicle accident there which further exacerbated the deterioration of that bridge. So we are working to figure out how to get that fixed. And we're still in communication with New Jersey Transit, and any updates we have, we will pass them on, but it is moving forward.
Thank you. Committeeman Grayzel.
Thank you. I don't have much in the way of committee reports and spoke earlier about the importance of raising awareness about autism. Would like to be probably the first on the dais tonight to talk about the great day we had today in Morris Township with the Red Bulls ribbon cutting of their facility. What a fantastic day. What a fantastic accomplishment. Years and years of work went into this. And it's going to culminate with the World Cup coming to Morris Township and Brazil being the team that's being hosted here. So kudos to everybody who contributed along the way. It's been, like I said, a road and a process, but it's been a team effort, and so proud to have the Red Bulls here and having them call Morris Township home for the next, hopefully, forever years. Thank you, Mayor.
Committeeman Ravitz.
All right, no bombshells tonight. But a couple of things. I'm going to be a little bit more long-winded than typical because there's a number of things that I have to report. And I want to thank, first, I want to thank Charlie Schachter and the folks who came out in support of the leaf ban. I know you've been coming out now for the past number of meetings. I personally, I can't stand the leaf blowers, but I want to look into New Jersey State resolution, was it S623? So I'd like to learn a little bit more about that, and perhaps it is something that this township can get behind. So, you know, thanks for bringing that to our attention. Regarding the litigation, I'm not going to have a lot of comment on that. I think that what the statement that the mayor read really encompasses the spirit of how we on the dais feel about that. I will say, kind of restate one of the things I've stated up here a number of times, and that is one of the jobs of the township committee is to vision-proof the future. And the future is moving to renewables despite whatever happens outside of this courtroom. So I'm the only person on this dais on the township committee that was around in 2022 to vote yes on this. It was a good law then. It's a good law now, and we think it's worth fighting for. So that's my only comment until there's further updates that's come officially from the Township Committee. Moving on to Parks and Rec, there are some updates and things. Our third annual Pride Fest will be held on June 7th at Ginty Field from 11 to 2. Come as you are, come as you see yourself. All are welcome to take part in the festivities. We welcome participation of local businesses and affiliated organizations, craftspeople, whatnot, to market their products and services. It's free, and I would urge folks those interested in having a table or whatnot, to contact the Recreation Department for details on how you can get your business involved. In Morris Township, we believe in uniting people, no matter whatever demographics they happen to fall into. Also, coming up the following week is the Collinsville and Tuckerfield grand reopening. So that's scheduled for June 13th. It's been a long time coming, and we know that the residents will find it was worth it, even though it seemed at times agonizingly slow. All are welcome to join again in those festivities and for the grand reopening of a reimagined recreation park in our town. I also want to acknowledge and recognize all the efforts of Alexis Foley of our Recreation Department on her incredible contributions to Morris Township over the years. Her last official day will be Friday, but she'll be coming back for special events throughout the spring and the summer. And I wish Alexis all the best in her new job, and she'll be missed here. Today, as Committeeman Grayzel had mentioned, was the ribbon cutting ceremony at the Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Red Bulls Performance Center. It was great to see so many dignitaries from all over who were part of the effort, and it was especially great to see so many of our township professionals and board members who have been part of that process through every step. It's a true state-of-the-art facility and acknowledged to be a top-tier performance center in North America. And as Committeeman Grayzel said, we look forward to decades of partnership with the Red Bulls and the economic activity potential that it brings with it. I remember, on a personal note, I remember when I was new and kind of wet behind the ears on the Township Committee when it was first brought, I think you were the mayor, Jeff, was brought to our attention that the Red Bulls were interested in building a training facility here in the township at the Honeywell site. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, to be part of something so incredibly special like this, what a boon it's going to be to the township. And I remember saying to the administrator, saying, well, we got to do whatever we need to do to make this deal work. And at times, it had its trials and tribulations, but at the end of the day, our township professionals, our planning board, our township committee, we went the extra mile and we made it work, and it is an incredible center. So if you ever get a chance to, be invited inside, it is an incredible facility. In recognition of Earth Day and Arbor Day, I just want to say a couple of words. It's two powerful reminders, Earth Day and Arbor Day. One calls us to reflect on the health of our planet as a whole, and this kind of ties into a lot of the things, the environmental resolutions and whatnot that we worked up here on the dais, and taking that planet as a whole is something that we take very seriously. And the other, Arbor Day invites us to take a simple, tangible step and plant a tree. And together, these two holidays or these two, days, they tell a single story about stewardship, responsibility, and hope. Earth Day asks us to think big, right? Climate change, clean water, sustainable energy, these are global challenges that demand collective action. And Arbor Day reminds us that meaningful change can start small, one tree at a time. We restore habitats, clean our air, and invest in our future. A tree is more than wood and leaves. It's shade on a hot day, a home for wildlife, a quiet promise for tomorrow, and that could be better than today. And when we plant one, we're not just improving our environment, we're making a statement about the kind of world we want to leave behind. So today, let's honor both days, not just with words, but with action. Plant something, protect something, commit to something, because the future isn't built all at once. It grows just like a tree, one careful step at a time. And finally, remember that as you go about your day, to be kind to yourself and kind to others, because kindness matters. And as my mantra always has been, we have more in common than should ever divide us. Mayor?
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Jonnada.
Thank you. First, congratulations again to the Red Bulls Training Center being for the grand opening. This is a reminder that this will be the site for the soccer teams for the FIFA World Cup. 8 games will be played at the New York, New Jersey Stadium in the Meadowlands, as MetLife Stadium will be called during this month. As such, travel around this area will be affected on those dates, including NJ transit trains and nearby highways. So please take note of that. I want to also welcome to our new volunteer members to the township committees and commissions. Environmental Commission has a new associate member, Kate Drummond. Transportation Advisory Committee, or TAC, has 3 new members, Chris Oakley, Bill Bryan, and Ed Vanderveen. I and the respective chairs personally interviewed each of them. They have all showed enthusiasm in joining and hoping to provide needed advice and help. Each of them expressed that they wanted to do, quote unquote, do something, and volunteering in their local municipality was the best way to do this. I absolutely respect that, since this was how I had started by joining the Environmental Commission back in 2019. I still hear from some constituents have expressed their desire to, quote unquote, do something, and I've directed them to the township website to fill out the volunteer form. In terms of transportation TAC, look for upcoming Morris Township in Motion events. We have only 5 events, but one includes Burnham Park on June 20th, which is my neighborhood, and on September 19th, Normandy Parkway, which is Committeewoman Rothman's neighborhood. I'll help lead the Burnham Park Walk, and Carl Barkin of the Historic Preservation Commission will lead the Normandy Parkway Walk. And the Environmental Commission, Mr. Charlie Schachter is here. The newsletter continues to get accolades. Last month, Sustainable Jersey gave honors. This month, it was ANJEC that praised them. ANJEC is the Association of New Jersey Environmental Commissions. And we also held a school poster contest, and awards were distributed by Mayor Guariglia and myself to the winning teams from grades 3 to 6, which showed innovation and imagination. Now to my little historic presentation. Like millions around the world, I watched the journey of the 4 astronauts on Artemis II, traveling around the moon and safely returning back home to Earth. My family and I watched the end of the 10-day journey as the capsule splashed down into the Pacific Ocean. The most important part was on the 6th day, when they traveled around the moon and took very sharp photos. This reminded me of the first spaceflight around the moon back in December 1968, when Apollo 8 made the first humankind journey out of Earth's orbit. Astronauts Frank Borman, Bill Anders, and Jim Lovell reached the moon on Christmas Day and read from the Bible's book of Genesis. I remember seeing the sun reflecting from the window as one of them read the passage, "Let there be light." Much like the present, the spaceflight in 1968 took place during a time of extreme strife. The year started with the Tet Offensive in Vietnam, where enemy troops took over much of South Vietnam. Later, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Senator Robert Kennedy were both assassinated. There were uprisings in Paris, France, and Prague Spring in Czechoslovakia. Both will be put down by their respective governments and others, especially in Prague, where Soviet tanks rolled into the city. When these astronauts made their flight by the end of this turbulent year, they reminded us that our world is all we have. The most memorable photo was not of the moon, but of the Earth rising above the moon's surface. This Earthrise photo was published the following year and moved many people by giving us all a different perspective of the world and its problems. Today is Earth Day. The first Earth Day was celebrated in 1970 on this same date. That Earthrise photo was a major impetus for this, and the environmental movement was a result. The Artemis II astronauts answered this with their own Earth-set photo, which was equally beautiful and moving. The astronomer Dr. Carl Sagan famously called Earth a pale blue dot, where he stated, "Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. The Earth is where we make our stand. We need to preserve and cherish this pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known." Every April, I fly an Earth Day flag at my house. It's to remind us that this planet is all of us, our Earth, our home. Happy Earth Day. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The first comment I want to make is I would like to provide an update on legal advertising. Since March 1st, under Public Law 2025, Chapter 72, the Township has been following the updated notice requirements in accordance with local finance board guidance. This includes posting required notices on the municipal bulletin board and posting legal notices on the Township website under legal notices. I encourage residents to regularly check the Township website for legal notices, meeting notices, updates, and other important information. It can be found there, and if you go and check, you'll be up to date on everything that's happening. Just a couple quick things about the Red Bulls today. There's just one, it was an incredible experience. It is an incredible facility. And I did say there, but I also want on the record that I want to express the township's gratitude to everyone who was involved in making this vision a reality. There's so many of our former township officials, our township professionals, and our land use and advisory boards, and especially our residents, who many of whom became supporters and understand the power of sport to unite us. It was incredible to be there, and I think it's going to be a whole new chapter in so many positive things coming here in the township. Another quick thing just about the budget. While it is very clear rising costs have put a strain on our budget, I want everyone to understand our departments have met the challenge, reviewing our expenditures and identifying those areas where we can make adjustments without impacting the essential services so vital to our residents. Our approach has always been one of prudence and foresight. Our focus remains on delivering quality services while ensuring that we are good stewards of taxpayer dollars. We also want to thank you, our residents, for your continued support and understanding, knowing the township is in good hands, and we will continue to make sure that Morris Township remains vibrant and strong for many years to come. Just two other quick things. Again, when it gets to me, I'm always crossing things out that the others have said. But I do want to mention that last Sunday, we had coffee with the cop at the Jersey Artisan Cafe right in our Fairchild neighborhood, which is really special. Chief Shear is there with about 5 or 6 of our police officers. It was very busy that day. Residents come in, they can chat with any of our officers. So it's something really special that they do. And the last thing is just I want to mention on May 6th at 7 p.m. in Hanover, but we also are part of, there's an event, the Human Trafficking Awareness Event. It's part of the Mayor's Wellness Campaign. And we urge people who need to learn more about all aspects of human trafficking to go. It's going to be a great presentation, so we hope that we see you there. Other than that, I think we're ready to go on to our last public comments. There are currently 7 members of the public joining us Zoom and 2 in the audience. 3 in, well, one's the press. Right. At this time, we will open the meeting for public comment. We'll begin with comments from those in person first, then go to Zoom. Please raise your hand on Zoom if you would like to speak. Please state your name and whether you are a resident or not for the record. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. However, if you have questions and would like a response, any remaining time will be yielded back to you. Is there a motion to open the public comment?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Horahan. I live at 8 Sherman Place, and I just have 2 questions. I'm going to guess that information about the federal court case is probably not going to be able to be forthcoming from this body, but if a resident wanted to follow along, what's the best place to get information about that?
The complaint is a public document. I don't know if we're going to provide it, but you certainly can provide an open request. The complaint would go to you. Other than that, the filings, if you go online to PACER on the federal courts, unlike the state courts and federal court, the public has access to all the filings on the federal court. So you can go and take a look and you can see what has been filed on the docket.
Did you say PACER?
PACER.
PACER, so look that up online. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And just one other question was that I was very happy to hear that Committeewoman Rothman brought up the, did I say your name right? Yeah. Okay. The current drought situation that we're in, because I follow that very closely on NJ Drought website. And so I was just wondering, does the township, are we at a point where there are any restrictions in place that the township has imposed?
Not as of yet, but when we get to that point. The water utility will send that out. When it gets to that point, they're the ones who initiate
But
the
as of now, we don't have any
restrictions.
restrictions.
Not that I'm aware
Okay.
of, no.
No,
Okay,
the state is just suggesting volunteer
Okay.
restrictions.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Seeing nobody else here and no hands raised, is there a motion to close public comment?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The time is now 9:06. Can I have a motion to adjourn the regular session?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next regular Township Committee meeting will be Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 at 7 PM for the regular meeting, 5 PM for closed in the municipal building, 50 Woodland Avenue. Thank you and have a great night.